Welcome in, guys. Happy Monday. We got a nice little 6-game card going on. It is just myself today. My man John, he's been dealing with COVID again, so he's going to be out for at least today, maybe tomorrow. We'll check in, see how he's feeling again. I'm going to go through the NBA slate. As always, we'll recap a little bit what went down on the weekend. Pretty crazy weekend once again in the NBA. I mean, just yesterday alone, blown leads, man. Blown leads. You had this OKC Toronto game. Raptors up as much as 23. They give up a 19-2 run. Thunder come all the way back. Go to OT, double OT, covered the over. Almost covered the full game spread of 9.5. Ended up winning that game by 8 in double overtime. Crazy game with the Thunder. Milwaukee Bucks and the Utah Jazz. When I talk about live betting in the NBA, because it's a game of runs, look no further than last night's Bucks-Jazz game. Jazz lose the second quarter by 16 points, 37-21. That second quarter started off on a 19-2 run. Utah wins the fourth quarter 40-13. Just crazy swings. You could get either side in that game, really. Big plus money. Obviously, Utah, I believe they went as high as plus 600. Ended up pulling that game out. And that's just yesterday's slate. I mean, the Suns, last game of a trip, tough spot. The Memphis Grizzlies, they put out 8 guys yesterday. I think it was 5 or 6 of them on two-way contracts. The only, regular NBA body that played yesterday for the Memphis Grizzlies was Luke Kennard. Outside of that, Scottie Pippen Jr., David Roddy. I mean, just Gilliard, just really no name. They get blown up by 40 at Boston, as they should. And then the day prior, we had a nice showdown between Giannis and Luka. Lakers, what's up with this Lakers team, man? As LeBron said, they can beat anybody. They can get blown out by anybody. They go on this trip. They win in double OT at Golden State. They lose at Houston. They lose at Atlanta. They get blown out at Houston, blown out at Atlanta. Then they go to the Knicks. They win that game. They go to Boston. No AD, no LeBron. They win that game. I mean, just crazy little road trip right now from the Lakers. They're wrapping up today. We'll get into that, of course. And then, of course, Steph Curry, 60-piece in a loss. That's always a tough L, an overtime loss there against the Atlanta Hawks. Tough game there all around. Got to love, though, when you see one of your better players in the NBA showing out. That's just a bit of what we've had go on over the weekend. Currently, no bets for this Monday slate, guys. We have, 6 games going on today. Pretty significant question marks in a lot of these games. I mean, just to name some of the names, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Tobias Harris, who's much bigger now without Joel Embiid. The Pelicans, they got Zion, Jared Allen for Cleveland. So it's really just, each game has its question marks on it. No bets yet. And a lot of tough spots today. Let's add that in as well. A lot of teams on the last day of a trip. You have the Lakers, 6th and final game of a trip. You have the Clippers, 7th and final game of a trip. You have the Sacramento Kings. They're on the final game of a 7-game trip. So long trips. A lot of teams been on the road for a while. Golden State, they're in a third city in 4 nights, coming in off a back-to-back, coming off an OT loss here that was on a back-to-back. So bad spots for a lot of teams. These numbers inflated because of that. If you're a Massa Edge member, you're looking at John's ratings. A lot of these are going to be a tick high to the sides of those spots. We're going to go in, or a tick low, depending on if they're a dog in the situation. So we'll go through this whole slate. We'll go through it real quick, guys. As always, if you can, like, comment, subscribe below. And, hey, we got Super Bowl week, officially in Super Bowl week. Shout out to anybody who bothered with the Pro Bowl. I could give 2 shits. If I want to watch flag football, I'm going to throw on some lingerie football. But, hey, each to their own. If you guys watch the Pro Bowl, if you bet on the Pro Bowl, seek help. No, I'm just playing. But, yeah, betting on Pro Bowl, that's a new beast. Let's go ahead and run through this NBA card. We got the Kings and the Cavaliers. Love this matchup. 2 teams kind of trending in the same direction, just as programs as a whole. Both teams kind of really took a stride forward last year. They made big trades. You get Sabonis, you bring him in. You get Donovan Mitchell, you bring him in for Cleveland. They make that first stride. They become some of the top teams in their conferences last season, but both first-round exits. So we'll see what we get here in this matchup. 2 teams playing great basketball right now. Sacramento, 5-1 on the trip, 6-1 their last 7. And like I said earlier, this is the final game of a 12-day trip. They're 5-1 on it right now. one of the best road teams in the NBA, 16-9-1 against the spread. They're coming off a nice win against the Bulls. Sabonis, walking triple-double, has another. De'Aaron Fox led. He had 41 points in that game. Then you have this Cleveland team who just keeps getting it done. Jared Allen's now questionable. They finally got healthy. Mobley and Garland, they're back in the mix full-time now. Allen and Mobley, big games the other night. They combined for 54 points, 26 rebounds in that one. Mitchell, big night as well, 31 points. Cavs, their last 14, red hot, 13-1, 10-4 against the spread. They won 8 straight at home, 6-2 against the spread. I mean, really, just two teams playing great basketball. And this is one of those, the line's a bit high because of the spot, and that's where it gets tough. Like, this number, if it wasn't the last game of a 7-game, 12-day trip, we're not looking at 4.5. This thing was even up to 5. Some sharps took it down from the 5.5. And maybe they're betting on the Allen info. Maybe they're just betting the number because it's too high, which it is. I don't make SAC this high. It's how much do you want to value the spot? I mean, this is probably Cleveland 2.5 on a normal setup, but a long trip, 12th game, 7-day trip. You look at the matchup history, it's all Sacramento. Kings 6-2 straight up and against the spread of the last 8 meetings. They won by double digits in Cleveland last year. I will not go against this SAC team in this situation. And if you guys look at the Cavs, this stretch they've been great. 13-1, you're 13-1 against NBA teams, so be it. But just go look at their wins. I mean, outside of the Clippers and a win against the Bucks in a 2-game set, I mean, really not much else. Dominated the Spurs, the Grizzlies, the Pistons, Magic, okay, Hawks, all right, Bulls, Nets, Spurs, Wizards, Raptors. Impressive wins, a couple. So this is one of their tougher games on this stretch. Would be Sacramento or nobody. This number is a bit too high for me. But again, how much value do you want to put to this spot? 12-day trip, final game of it. Sacramento going home after this one. No bet so far in that game. Would be Kings or nobody. Then we got Mavs at Philly. Big injury game here. Obviously, Luka Doncic up there, top 3 guys as far as value to the number. He can move the line 4, 5, 6 points depending on being in or out. Kyrie Irving, though, missed the last several games. He's going to be back in the mix. So we'll see if Dallas can finally have their star backcourt back and healthy. Then you have this Philly team who they go, you get Maxi's 51 in Utah, the big game there, and they come back home from the 5-game trip, and they end up losing the first game home to Brooklyn. Obviously, no Embiid. If you guys missed it, dude's going to get surgery, so he's going to be out for an extended period of time. Still not being ruled out for the playoffs or anything else. I don't believe it was torn. They keep saying a meniscus injury issue. They're using really delicate words with it for whatever reasons. Long story short, Embiid's getting surgery. He's out for a little while. And Tobias Harris is questionable today. Now, he missed that last game. Was it a bit more of a resting spot? Is it a bit more of a serious issue? We're going to have to wait to see today what's going on with him. That first game they missed, oftentimes the NBA, they rest guys all the time. So first game, it's 50-50, really, if it's missed or serious. And even some of the coaches speak, the way to describe situations. Obviously, everyone, 50 games through the NBA season right now? At this point, everybody has a lingering issue of some sort. It's a toe, a knee, an elbow, whatever it might be. So could be an issue that's building up. We are close to the All-Star break. Could have just been a resting spot. Let's talk about the actual game here. Dallas, I mean, just a disgusting loss. We were on them the other night. Couldn't get it for us against Milwaukee. They were up as much as 25. They allowed Milwaukee to come storming back in that one. Luka, though, just terrific. 49-11 in that game. He is now averaging a 40-point triple-double over his last 7 games. First player in NBA history to average a 40-point triple-double over that extended period of time. And then you have the 76ers team just not playing great ball right now. 3-5, 2-6 against the spread their last 8. And 3 home games so far this year without Embiid, just 1-2. And as far as the matchup history, 76ers, 4-2 the last 6 meetings. They've won the last 3 in Philly by an average of 10.7 points. This could end up being a no-brainer game. If Luka gets out and Tobias Harris is ruled in, no-brainer, bet Philly in this spot. But we got to see what's going on there. If Luka gets ruled in, how many points do they allow us to have with Philly? Does Harris get ruled out? So I really don't want to bet this Philly team if Harris is out. It's just too much without Embiid. waiting on the update there. As always, our members, you guys will be notified on that information. And it's not just Embiid that's missing here for Philly, by the way, guys. D'Anthony Melton, who's, starter and gives them some good scoring in there. He's been out for a while. Covington and Batum, they've been dealing with some issues. And that wing depth, when you add in Covington, Batum, and then you add in Tobias Harris with Embiid already out, it becomes a really, really, really shorthanded team. So Philly or nobody in my eyes, but again, 100% dependent on what happens with Luka, what happens with Harris. We'll be waiting for that. Then we got this Lakers at the Hornets game. Now, another one of these just tough spots. What are you going to get out of the Lakers today? 5 games on the trip. I mean, we already went over it earlier. They're coming off 2 huge wins. You could argue a massive letdown here. Win over the Celtics, win over the Knicks. And they go home to the Denver Nuggets on Thursday. Now, granted, they're going to have a couple of days off, but, playoff revenge, they still haven't gotten it. And Nuggets are the team they struggle with. They get wins over the Celtics, the Clippers, the Thunder, the Knicks. You think about the top teams in the NBA, they get wins over all of them except for Denver. They just seem to have their numbers. So, bit of a look ahead here for the Lakers in a letdown situation. Granted, a couple days off after this, and this is absolutely a must-win game against this Charlotte Hornets team. They've now lost 7 in a row, straight up and against the spread by an average of 16.7 points. Coming off another 16-point loss in this last game. Like I keep saying, if you guys have been tuning in consistently, only bright spot we can talk about the Charlotte Hornets right now, Brandon Miller. Last game, 35 points. He did only shoot 10 to 25 in that one, but still, he's been improving. He's been giving them some scoring. LaMelo, he's been questionable. He's missed the last 5 games. They've listed him questionable every single game. He didn't play any of those. Is he coming back today? And like I said before, LeBron and AD both questionable. So you have this very short-handed Hornets team who's been dealing with a bunch of issues already all season. What's going on with LaMelo? I will say LeBron in his career has absolutely owned the Charlotte Hornets. I believe it's his best win percentage against any team. Maybe a part of that is a bit because MJ used to own it. It's a little bit of a point of that, but also the Hornets have just been bad the entire time LeBron's been in the NBA. So you have that going too. As far as matchup history, Lakers 8-2, 9-1 against the spread the last 10 meetings. They are 4-2, 6-0 against the spread the last 6 trips to Charlotte. So matchup history is all Lakers, and Hornets are playing horrible basketball right now. Just a horrible spot for the Lakers. 2 big wins, last game of a trip. They go home to play the Nuggets. Do they rest either of the big stars tonight? We will see. Got to always see what's going on with the injuries there. As bad as the spot is, I can't back this Hornets team that's lost 7 straight by an average of 16 points. I'd be laying a double digits or nothing just to make sure LeBron and AD are in if you're going to be laying double digits. Next matchup here. Warriors at Brooklyn. Again, another really, really, really tough spot here for Golden State. Third city in 4 nights, and they had just been playing the tightest of tough games you possibly could. You had that 1-point loss to Sacramento. You lose to the Lakers in double overtime. And now you have coming off a loss here in Atlanta when Steph Curry drops 60 in overtime. So a lot of traveling, a lot of long, hard-fought games, and now you have another one coming up your way in Brooklyn. Curry dropped 60. Wiggins and Clay, they combined to shoot 5 for 25 in that overtime loss at Atlanta. Brutal shooting performance there. Wiggins is out, so that might be an addition by subtraction. I mean, Wiggins, worst plus-minus on the Warriors this season, so take that for what you will. Ben Simmons for the Nets, he's played a game, missed a game, played a game, and he is missing another game tonight. He's going to be out again. Been playing very limited minutes. The Nets, not covering much lately, 2-4-1 against the spread. Their last 7 at home. They are coming off a nice win against the 76ers. And then as far as the matchup history, Warriors beat them earlier this season in Golden State, but Nets, they got both meetings last year. This Golden State team just feels a bit of a free fall, and they're tough losses. Just no interest in the spot here. I mean, third city, 4 nights, multiple overtime games over the last several weeks. I mean, just an old team really getting put through the ringer right now. Brooklyn or nobody in this game for me. And no questionables there yet that have popped up, but Wiggins out, Simmons out as far as the injuries go. And we got Clippers at Atlanta, and the spots continue. Clippers, 7th and final game of 11-day trip. They're coming off a win last night at Miami. So back-to-back final game of a trip. Again, a horrible spot, and that's why this number is so short. In Atlanta, if Clippers come in normal rested, normal situation, you're looking at, Clippers -6, maybe 6.5, 7, depending on the spot. But we're all the way down to 3. Is anyone sitting for the Clippers? Got to wait to see on that. Zubac, I would imagine, is out. He came back yesterday, played decent in that game against Miami. He missed extended time. So Zubac, I don't think is going to play back-to-back first game back. Hey, maybe he does. And then Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, do either of those big guys get a night off? If Paul George is out, doesn't bother me so much. Clippers now 3-0 straight up against the spread without Paul George this season. Without Kawhi, different story. So no listed on the injury reports as of this moment for either of those guys. But hey, 7th and final game of a long trip. Maybe they get the question off. Maybe they get the day off. So got to wait to look on that. This Hawks team playing much, much, much better basketball these last several games. It was, I still think they are. They're on pace for the worst against the spread record in NBA history. They still have the worst against the spread record at home in the NBA, 7-18 against the spread at home this season. But they've been playing good ball. They've won 4 in a row. They're 3-1 against the spread their last 5. Even amidst all the trade rumors, both around Murray and Trae Young, trade rumors, playing good ball. Jalen Johnson almost had a triple-double in that win against the Warriors, 21, 13, and 8. Trae Young had 35 in that game. So you got some good guys stepping up right now. Hunter, Saddiq Bey, a couple of your role player wings there. They're both questionable. So waiting to see what's going on with those guys. I like Atlanta. I like the way they've been playing. They're due for some regression. They owe us some money. And not just us as in, us as in all the NBA bettors. They owe everybody some money. They haven't been covering much this season. So they're due for some covers. The market is due to regress. Like I said, this number's a bit short because of the spot. How much value you want to give to the spot? So waiting to see what's going on here. If the Clippers rest anybody, I'd be okay laying a worse number than the 3. I still lean to the Hawks at this 3 number. Pretty light travel for the Heat. But again, final game of a trip, long trip, back-to-back. No interest here in the Clippers. Too bad of a spot. Number's a bit short, yes, but because of the spot. And that's the same situation with maybe the Lakers game. That's the same situation absolutely with the Kings game. And that's going to be the situation here with this next game. Raptors at Pelicans. Same story continues. This game does not deserve to be 11.5 under normal circumstances, but it's not normal circumstances. Raptors are back-to-back after blowing a 23-point lead against the Thunder yesterday, and they lose that in double OT. So crazy game in that one in the sense. Big third-quarter run from the Thunder. They get right back in the mix, almost cover the full game line. Toronto, 1-7 their last 8. They're 2-7 their last 9 road games, but 6-3 against the spread on those. They're losing but covering. So we'll see if that continues now with the big number here at New Orleans. Pelicans coming off a nice win against, well, not a nice one, they didn't cover. Coming off a win against San Antonio, a nice game winner from Zion. He's questionable tonight. Herb Jones did not play in that game. He's questionable tonight. So got to see what's going on with them. They went 2-2 on that trip, but they won the last 2. And they're only 4-7 against the spread. Their last 11 at home. Check the matchup history. It is all Pelicans. Pelicans 4-2, 5-1 against the spread the last 6 meetings. They've won the last 3 in New Orleans by an average of 17.3 points. So matchup history favors New Orleans, and the spot is entirely all New Orleans. I wouldn't mind if Zion's out in this game, get the Pelicans at a cheaper price. That's the NBA slate today, guys. Really just spots to avoid, I would say. Raptors back-to-back after double overtime. I don't care what the number is. I don't want to bet that team. You have the Clippers back-to-back on the 7th and final game of 11-day trip. Don't want to back that. You have the Lakers on the 6th and final game of 10-day trip, coming off 2 big wins in a letdown spot. Looking ahead to the Denver Nuggets next. And then you have the Kings who are on the final game of the long trip. And they coming off some big wins as well. So bad spots across the board. I would look to go against those. And again, a lot of these injury related. I'm hoping to get better prices on some of these good spots with some of these teams based on the injuries. So waiting to see where those go with for us. As far as, Super Bowl guys, make sure you guys become a member. Still no bet on that out yet. Numbers only gone half point either direction. Pinnacle actually up to 2.5 now, back on the number. It won't touch 3. It just won't touch 3. It's too many points. So that's what we have going on with the Super Bowl line. And make sure you guys come back in tomorrow. If you guys want to know any bets we add in on the day based on the injuries, as always, sign up on massaedge.com or download the Massa Edge app. And yeah, appreciate all you guys tuning in. Hopefully, John's back with me tomorrow. And if he's not, it'll be me again. I appreciate all you guys who tune in. Like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some damn money.